Great. Noel, let's hear from you, brother.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, no, it'll be great. You need to get everybody on tonight. Stella is amazing. I was going to say, I'll probably talk to her, a couple of times a week. She's an amazing girl, and these girls are amazing. We've done some crazy things together. I was going to say, but I guess it's a journey, and sometimes we got to go through it. But it's how we handle the ups and downs, wow, you know what? In my younger days, I used to be all over the shop, man. You know what? I just love life. I can never get enough in there. I was going to say I've never been on time on my life. I was going to say I know I sold a car to a guy who had a funeral business, and he says, Noel, let me do your funeral because that'll be the only time you'll be on time in your life. I said, mate, I haven't got time for dying. I was going to say I have too much time to be living, and I used to be terrible, I'd be cramming everything I could in life, and trying to get the best out of everything, and I know when I injured myself when I was shearing, and it really gave me a big wake up call because I had no education. So I didn't know how to read or write. I knew how to work hard. I used to be a shearer, and I used to shear, 250, 300 sheep a day. And I used to make really good money, And then I injured my back. I ended up nearly in a wheelchair, and I didn't think I was going to walk again. And then they took me to the sports centre in Crow's Nest in Sydney, and they got me walking again. And because I was only young, and it was going to cost the insurance companies, because I did it at work, it was going to cost the insurance companies a fortune. And you wouldn't believe it. The 2 weeks before that, they stopped paying lump sums. So people were getting payouts, and a lot of them were faking it, And I thought, you cannot believe this. So they actually rehabilitated me. I was in this swimming pool, learning how to walk again, building up strength in my legs, because I exploded 2 discs and ruptured another one, and I just couldn't walk. I couldn't, I thought, man. I played sport all my life, and I'm thinking, wow, I do not want to end up in a wheelchair. They done heaps of small operations, and they did things, and they liposuctioned out some of the stuff that, exploded, was pushing on nerves and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, it was actually scary because now I had to use my brain, because I never used it before. Was going to say, yeah, it'll work. But I thought, man, I can't read and write. What am I going to do, And they rehabilitate me. They done this test of what they were going to rehabilitate me to do. And I went through this test, and it took hours after they got me going again. And they basically said I should have kept this thing. It was nearly a Bible, and they more or less said that you're a dumb idiot and you're not going to be able to do anything, because I couldn't read. I couldn't. I had to build these things behind cardboard boxes. I had to do this, and I'm thinking, what the heck has this got to do with anything? And I'm thinking, so basically they said the only thing you're going to be is a good security guard, because I was a big, strong bloke, and all I was going to be doing is basically throwing people out of shopping centres or pubs that were playing up. And I'm thinking, oh wow, that's a really good future, And you wouldn't believe it. I actually and this person would take me to stuff, and I actually had to go back to TAFE to learn how to read and write, because I couldn't do anything without reading and writing, because I couldn't physically do any work no more. And then I went to TAFE, and I actually met this girl that was teaching me how to read and write, and her name was Sherry Stewart. She was an American girl, and she said to me, "You know what? My husband's expanding his business at the moment. He's looking for some sharp people, and he may have a position for you." Now, I was excited as anything, but I didn't realise that I was signing up for Amway at that time. So I actually got into Amway, but you know what? That actually changed my life, because I was only in for a short period of time, and I went to a major seminar, and I met Peter Daniels. And Peter Daniels was up there, and at 27, he couldn't read and write. He was dyslexic, and that was another thing they found out when I was at TAFE, that I was dyslexic, because I used to put everything back to front, and sometimes when I'd be looking at things, all the words used to join together. So when I was at school, when I couldn't do something, I would just play up so I could get kicked out of the class and go and do what I wanted to do, because I just couldn't understand it, Anyway, so this is okay. But when I went to this seminar, Peter Daniels, he was 27-year-old. He was dyslexic. He couldn't read and write, and he come from a dysfunctional family. I come from a good family, but you know what? And this guy is a millionaire, like a billionaire. And he said he said you need balance in your life, and he went to church. And most of his family had free boarding because they were in jail, and so he had a pretty rough upbringing. And he went to church, and he said, "You know what? You're a son of God. You are sons and daughters of God, and God wants the best for you, and you can do anything in life if you put your mind to it." And I thought, you know what? Was going to say, and I went to church, and I basically, I redone as a Christian as well, which was an amazing thing, and connected with God, and got some balance in my life. And then they taught me how you need to have a diary, because now you're all over the shop. Like, I'm a blue. I just want to have fun. All the writing and all that stuff bores me. I just want to have fun. If you want me to read a book, tear out one page a day, and I'll be able to read one page. Give me the book, and I'm thinking, I'm never going to get through this book. And the thing is, when I started writing down, he said, "Man, you will never get anywhere without, you've got to have a diary, and you've got to start learning the discipline." But the reason why I didn't have a diary, because I didn't know how to write anything in it. So I had a lot of things to change, and anyway, they rehabilitated me selling cars, and I started off with Ford, and then I went to a Prestige yard. So I drove flash cars, and because I started off being a mechanic before I went sharing, I actually had a mechanical background, so I was a real good asset to their thing. And every time I sold a car, I said, "Oh, have you got your license?" And I used to copy everything down on their license when I needed to sell their car. Everything I needed was on that license. So they didn't even know I couldn't read and write. I was going to say, but you know what? It's amazing what you can do. I needed to make money again. I had a farm at that time as well. I needed to pay bills. So, it's funny how, things in life will discipline you to stay on track, and if I don't write things down in a diary, man, I'll forget them, what I was going to say. But you know what? Your diary is your roadmap to life as well. You've got to write things down. You've got to write dreams and goals down there and put dates on them, or otherwise, you'll forget them. If I don't write things, my internet's playing up this morning. I'm thinking, why is that thing playing up? I probably haven't paid the bill. I was going to say, it's not at the end of the month yet, I don't think, but normally it happens at the end of the month. But I don't know, maybe it slows down. I think it slows down a little bit as it gets to the end of the month. I'm thinking, well, I have to see what's going on, because you know what, I just get out and do what I need to do, and then when something happens, you know, I'm like Josie, and until the car don't start, I'm thinking, wow, I should have went and took it and done a service. You know, I'm too busy having fun that, you know, some of the fundamentals that we need to do. Thank God we have Stephen, because Stephen keeps us updated and he keeps us on track. Normally, when I think, wow, what's going on and what happened, I'll ring Stephen. I'll say, hey, what happened there? You know, what I was going to say, you know, because I thought somebody will know something. You know, I'll just keep on doing the job, and then if something happens, you know, I'm going to have to ask somebody, and you know, we can fix it up from there. But you know, so I never really worry about too much now, you know, because I've been through a bit through life. But you know, what I was going to say, but you know, you do need to keep updated to things, guys. Or it takes a bit of stress out of your life. But you know, it's just crazy, and people will tell you things like, you know what, I've been in lockdown for 4 days, and Stephen's probably the only one that knew that. And John, I was talking to John this morning, and because I thought, man, I'm not going to be able to go to Dubai now, because it was somebody who had COVID on the coast, and I was where he was. And I felt as sick as on Friday, and I thought, oh no, it's nothing, you know. And then on the weekend, I got really, really sick, and so I had to have this test. And the girl said to me, you know, man, you got COVID. You need to go home. You need to isolate. Because I'd got a Macca's and a ham, cheese, and tomato toasted Sammy's going to.
Don't get it, man. See, that's what did it. Don't have that stuff. That'll give you COVID.
What was going to say? So I've got a coffee. I've got a cheese and ham, cheese, and tomato toasty, because that's what I normally eat. Going to get the swab, and she's gone, man, you shouldn't have gone there, because what happens if you're infected? You just infected Macca's. I said, I had a mask on. I said, you know, I was still in the car. And they said, you know, it doesn't matter. It's really dangerous, you know. And she's looking at me and she says, man, you're glassy-eyed, you know, and she wanted to know my symptoms. She said, man, you've got it for sure. You need to go home. And I'm thinking, oh, wow. And you know what? She nearly had me convinced, you know, and I had all the symptoms. And then, you know, last night, sometimes we focus on the storm but not the solution. I said, you know what? I'm thinking, man, I need to pray to God. I'm going, God, I need to, whatever's in my body, whatever, I tell you, I need to have a shield on it. I need this to flush out of my system. I need to wake up in the morning. I need to get a good result, because I need to go to Dubai. So what happens? I wake up this morning. I feel fantastic. I got a text saying that I haven't got COVID, and you know, and everything's cool, and I'm going to Dubai. But you know what? You know, sometimes people will tell you stuff and you think, wow, you know, oh yeah, no, you definitely got COVID. You got all the symptoms. You got all this sort of stuff. And I'm double jabbed, and I'm thinking, I said, no, I'm double jabbed. It's cool. I was going to say, she said, you know what, you're lucky that you double jabbed, because you'd be in hospital now. And I've gone, oh yeah, right, yeah. But you know what? It is really good. You need to stay on track, and you need to do on updates. And my diary keeps me accountable for most things, you know. So it's a good topic. And maybe I might be able to get on time, because I didn't even know the thing. I remember filling in the thing. But you know what? I never looked at that. Was going to say, I'm thinking, oh, man, I need to get on here. It's 15 minutes past, and I'm going, wow. And you know what? It's nearly double time today.
Oh, let me just assure you, it is double time. So yeah. Brother, thank you for sharing. That's really great. You know what I loved about what you shared too, amongst everything, is like just hearing the history, because sometimes people will share information. For example, get a diary, it's so important. But I love that you shared not only a part of your life that I never heard about, but it also showed why a diary is so integral to your life, because you couldn't actually use one until you could read and write. And then now that you can read and write, how it's important to keep you on track. And you know what? If you don't already do that when you share your presentations about diary, you should include at least a quick summary to guys, you know, guys, why this is so important to me and why I see it as important, and it could be important for you, is because I couldn't read and write, and I used to be off track and everywhere. But this, as I learned to read and write, and I learned keep on track through this. And if you can feel what I'm saying, then you'll be able to appreciate what I'm sharing with you today. So if you incorporate that, that'll give it another dimension to people appreciating the value of a journal or a diary. Cool.
Yeah, no, it keeps me on track. Thank God for that. I'd forget my head if it wasn't screwed on. Was going to say, but diary, man, I cannot live without a diary. You know what? My diary is my success. Life goes too fast, and if you're not got a diary and you're not writing things down and being accountable, life will go past, and you think, where did that 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? Well, how come I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve? You just got to write it down.
Yeah. Well, thank you. What I want to do is I want to say thank you to everybody who came on production 2 hours plus today. It will not be happening tomorrow. So make sure that you, we are all leaders here. And so make sure that you communicate to team. Hey team, if you want to do it in a funny way, then do it in a funny way. But because a lot of people came on late, and at the start of daylight saving, me and Josie came on early. So just make sure that your teams are up to date and know what's happening. We're talking about updates today. One of them is vehicle. My registration's due tomorrow, but guess what? I'm going to log on today, get it done today. What are your updates? How are your life updates going? That's what the conversation was about today. Let's get on to 1 or 2 or more of our updates and keep moving forward tonight. Come in, get your team on board. Let's listen to Stella Bamanga. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to her heartfelt share, Indigenous from Australia, and it should be wonderful, heartfelt and funny. And look forward to seeing you tonight. Have a great day. Production hour returns tomorrow, 1 hour in a little bit, not 2 hours. So be there early. Unmute and say goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, y'all.
See you
Thank you,
guys.
Stephen.
Fun.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you on
Team
time
no
tomorrow.
sleep.
Yeah, see
Team
you on
no
time.
sleep.
Yeah, see you at 10.
Yeah.